Today we're diving deep into the heart of the Roman war machine, a machine that churned out conquerors and crushed civilizations for centuries. We're talking about the individuals who wielded that power, the top 10 Roman generals who left their mark on history in blood and iron. These weren't just guys in fancy armor barking orders. These were men who walked a tightrope between triumph and tragedy, between the glory of Rome and the fickle finger of fate. We'll explore their greatest victories, their bitterest defeats, and those pivotal moments that decided the fate of empires. Get ready to step onto the battlefield to hear the clash of steel and the roar of legions as we journey through ancient history to uncover the lives, deaths, and legacies of these titans of war. Stay tuned for an epic journey through ancient history. We begin with a name synonymous with Rome itself, Gaius Julius Caesar. This wasn't just a general, this was a man who straddled the line between myth and history. When we talk about Caesar, we're talking about ambition on a scale that redefined the Republic. Think about the audacity of this guy conquering Gaul, a land that dwarfed Italy itself, dragging hundreds of thousands of warriors across the Rubicon River, essentially declaring war on his own city. This wasn't just military genius, this was a gamble of epic proportions. The man who conquered Gaul, who stared down armies and emerged victorious, met his end not on some blood-soaked field, but on the cold marble floor of the Senate. The Ides of March 44 BC, a date etched in infamy. Caesar's death sent shockwaves through the Republic, triggering a power vacuum that would eventually lead to the rise of the Roman Empire. Imagine being handed the reins of an empire on the brink. That was the reality for Publius Cornelius Scipio, later known as Africanus, a man who faced Rome's greatest enemy and emerged victorious. We're talking about Hannibal, the Carthaginian general who had haunted Roman nightmares for a generation. Hannibal, with his elephants and his veteran troops, had already dealt Rome a string of crushing defeats. But Scipio, even as a young man, possessed a strategic brilliance that bordered on the uncanny. He understood that to beat Hannibal, you couldn't just meet him head-on. That's exactly what he did in Zama, 202 BC, using Hannibal's own tactics against him. Scipio's victory cemented Rome's dominance in the Western Mediterranean. Now, let's talk about Gaius Marius, a man who wasn't born into the Roman elite but clawed his way to the top through sheer grit and military genius. Marius saw that the old ways of war were no longer enough. He instituted sweeping reforms, transforming the Roman army from a citizen militia into a professional fighting force. Marius led his reformed army to victory after victory, crushing the Cimbri and the Teutones, Germanic tribes who posed an existential threat to Rome. But Marius's reforms also sowed the seeds of Rome's future turmoil, creating a professional army loyal to their general, not the Republic. He died in Rome amidst political turmoil, his legacy a mix of military brilliance and a dangerous precedent. Chapter 4. Pompey the Great, the last Republican, Cnaeus. Pompeius Magnus, better known as Pompey the Great, seemed to embody the ideals of the Roman Republic. Pompey burst onto the scene, crushing rebellions, putting down Spartacus and his slave army. He then turned his attention eastward, conquering vast swathes of territory, defeating Mithridates. But Pompey's rivalry with Julius Caesar would ultimately spell the end of the Republic. Pompey, the defender of Rome, found himself on the losing side of a civil war, his armies shattered, his power broken. Chapter 5. Marcus Vipsanius Agrippa, the right hand of Caesar. While Caesar might have been the face of Rome's conquest, Marcus Vipsanius Agrippa was the steady hand behind the throne. Agrippa excelled at logistics, ensuring that Caesar's war machine never ran out of steam. He proved his mettle at the Battle of Actium, commanding Caesar's fleet to victory against Mark Antony and Cleopatra. Agrippa didn't die by the sword or a poisoned cup. He died a natural death, leaving behind a legacy of military brilliance and unwavering loyalty. He was the ultimate wingman, the man who helped forge an empire. Chapter 6. Lucius Cornelius Sulla, the dictator. Lucius Cornelius Sulla, a name synonymous with ruthlessness and ambition, a man who didn't just want to lead Rome, he wanted to reshape it in his own image. Sulla rose to prominence during the Social War, proving himself a capable commander. He marched on Rome not once but twice, unleashing a reign of terror. Proscriptions, lists of his enemies were posted in the forum, their property confiscated, their lives forfeit. Sulla became dictator, ruling Rome with an iron fist, enacting reforms that strengthened the Senate. He retired unexpectedly, dying a few years later, supposedly from liver disease. Sulla's legacy is a complex one, a ruthless dictator, but also a skilled general and a shrewd politician. Imagine being the adopted son of an emperor, groomed for greatness, only to die under mysterious circumstances at the height of your power. That was the fate of Germanicus, a man whose popularity and military prowess made him both a hero to the people and a potential threat to the ruling elite. Germanicus earned his name campaigning in Germania, avenging the humiliating Roman defeat at the Teutoburg forest. His success and popularity made him a target, and he was recalled to Rome, then sent east to govern Roman provinces. He died suddenly in Antioch at the age of 33, with poisoning suspected. Germanicus was a Roman hero, a general whose life was cut tragically short. Chapter 8. Trajan, the Builder Emperor. Trajan stands tall not just as a conqueror but as a builder, a man who expanded Rome's borders to their farthest extent. Trajan's reign was a golden age for Rome, overseeing massive public works projects. He understood that a strong empire needed a strong foundation built on infrastructure and the support of its citizens. Trajan proved his mettle in the Dacian Wars, a brutal conflict against a fierce warrior people. Trajan's legions eventually prevailed, crushing the Dacian resistance. Trajan died in 117 AD on campaign in the east. He left behind a legacy of conquest, justice, and good governance. Chapter 9. Constantine the Great, the emperor who embraced a new god. Constantine stood at the crossroads of history, a Roman emperor who embraced a new faith and forever changed the course of Western civilization. Constantine's rise to power was anything but smooth. One of the most pivotal moments in this struggle came at the Battle of Milvian Bridge in 312 AD. Legend has it that Constantine had a vision before the battle, a vision of the Christian cross with the words in Hoc Signo Vinces, "In this sign you will conquer." Constantine's Edict of Milan in 313 AD granted religious toleration throughout the empire. Constantine's reign wasn't without its controversies, but his embrace of Christianity and decision to build a new capital in Constantinople shaped the course of history for centuries to come. Constantine's legacy is a blend of military prowess and spiritual revolution. Chapter 10. Belisarius, the Last Legion. Our final general takes us to the twilight of the Roman Empire, to a time when the once mighty legions were a shadow of their former selves. Belisarius served under Emperor Justinian, a ruler who dreamed of restoring the Roman Empire to its former glory. He reconquered North Africa from the Vandals and turned his attention to Italy, clashing with the Ostrogoths. His victories were hard-fought, often against overwhelming odds. But Belisarius's brilliance wasn't enough to stem the tide. He was betrayed by jealous rivals, recalled to Constantinople, his victories ultimately squandered. Belisarius's story is a poignant reminder that even the greatest generals are at the mercy of forces beyond their control. We've journeyed through centuries of Roman history, walked alongside generals who shaped the destiny of empires. From Caesar's conquest of Gaul to Belisarius's last stand, we've seen how these men, through their triumphs and tragedies, left an indelible mark on Western civilization. They were masters of warfare, strategists and tacticians who commanded legions and conquered empires. But they were also products of their time, driven by ambition, loyalty, and the ever-shifting sands of Roman politics. Their lives, their deaths, offer us a glimpse into a world both familiar and alien, a world of power, intrigue, and relentless conflict. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more historical content. Let us know in the comments which Roman general you found most fascinating, whose legacy resonates most strongly with you. Join the conversation and let's delve deeper into the annals of history together.